way.
Match point, KT, yet again, for the third time in a row, for the third series in a row. They are looking strong. And RPG, they're weakened. They have been weakened from the very start. As we said, DSL, their main ranged assassin player, an absolute legend, one of the best, if not the best ranged assassin in China, is not with them. He can't play because of a wrist injury.
Yeah.
And won't be able to play with them, even if they were to qualify today.
RPG have 21 bans on Maev, so I would not be surprised to see them continuing that theme. Thank you. Now, on the other side, KT have been a little bit more flexible with their bans up to now. They've been banning Diablos. They've been banning cheeky little... been banning Genji as normal, but they've also been banning Decades, Hammers, all those cheeky picks to try and give themselves more potential that way.
And by the same token, they are the team that makes more heroes work at the moment. Whether you put Timeless on that Garrosh or the Diablo today, doesn't matter. He plays Johanna, he's still going to win you games. The same can be said about TWT. Regardless of which support you're playing him on today, he's always going to perform. And even Lotus, Kiaru, those guys, we called them a little bit of a liability earlier for sometimes not knowing their limits. They're performing so much right now. Those self-cleanses on Malthael were oftentimes life-saving.
They really, really were. But for now then, what is the next ban for KT? Are they going to ban any of those supports? They're going to ban Abathur. Big map. Mule is a wonderful thing. Very sensible. Remove that away. And we're going to start off with the Decade Kane for RPG.
And you know what? Although DSL is not with them, Chicken, I think, has played Diablo in the past. Abathur as well in the past. So they can always try to fall back onto those Abathur compositions. And as you said, Sky Temple is a wonderful map for the little slugger. Mule, Global Presence, very annoying.
Tyrande Yrel, immediate pickups here for KT, but once again, Emerald Cube is now a threat on the board, and a classic combo. Sergeant Hammer with the Decade Kane, and they're going to get seized Muradin. This is a good draft for RPG to start off with.
Definitely can't put it on the draft if RPG would fail this time around, because, man, they're just picking comfort all across the board. Sergeant Hammer, not sure who's going to play it, whether it's going to be Chicken or Pa yet, because it has always been DSL who plays that hero, and boy oh boy did he play it well.
Yes, he did. But with Dehaka now banned out, removing those solo laners, we still want to see that potential for... all that potential for Yrel dominating the solo lane, but it leaves open heroes like Malthael, which could be pretty solid pickups. There goes the Cassia. That's a weird one because that's sort of RPG's thing. They're the ones who pick it. It's very rare that someone else actually does.
Yeah, maybe they're afraid of Cassia just dodging and mitigating too much of the damage from Sergeant Hammer.
Maybe.
But what is left here in the tank department? Garrosh comes to mind. Certainly a stronger pick for Timeless, but he can also fall back onto the JoJo again if he so desired. Nope, it's going to be that Garrosh and Jaina.
Stealing it away. The burst has been really solid so far today. Can understand that one very well.
Okay, so burst damage on the side of KT, check. Garrosh, good tank, check. Tyrande is there as well. They need another range DPS, or maybe if they want to be really cheeky, they go for something like a Thrall. They really wanted to have another melee in the mix. Blaze, yet again, against Tyrande seems to be a good choice. And Junkrat coming in there as well.
Alright, a little bit of extra disruption. We've seen Garrosh struggle against Junkrats before. Very reasonable ban. Very reasonable pickup here by RPG. Very logical. But is it going to be enough? Hanzo to finish up. One of their highest picks, actually, KT, this entire season, but has rarely seen play so far this during this play day. But they now have some great poke potential. They have great burst, pretty good hard engage. It's not a terrible comp. Both teams look like they came out pretty well, but I think I actually prefer RPG's draft again.
Again, I do agree with you. Well, just like last game, you could really see how much the draft kept them in the game, because raw team fighting almost always went in favor of KT, but with the sheer force of their picks and the power of their picks, they were able to clutch in. This time around, I agree with you again. I think their draft looks almost immaculate. but it is KT. And if they've shown us one thing today, is that you can never count them out, regardless. Even if they would pick Murky right now, if they drafted Murky, Abathur, something along those lines, and an Ana on top of it, I would still not count them out. And they do have some very dangerous tools as well. The Hanzo actually was banned out in the previous game, and I think for a reason.
Exactly. They are very good at him. Exactly as I said, he's one of their most highly picked heroes throughout the phase. In fact, he is their most highly picked hero throughout the phase, appearing in 47% of all of KT's games. Not through the greatest success, but you can say that about all of their heroes because, well, they didn't win that often until today.
And that's the cool thing about it, right? KT all phase long, they were sort of under the radar. We've always been like, yeah, this team has potential, yeah, but then again, Timeless starts feeding. You know, they start getting a little bit emotional, a little inconsistent. But when they need to show up, they show up, and they couldn't have chosen a better point in time.
Well, let's see if it's going to work out for them, or can RPG show up and start the reverse sweep? Let's find out as we head to Sky Temple. And ladies and gentlemen, 0-2 down, but looking for the reverse sweep. On the left, it is RPG with Free Show, MJ, Pa, C, and Chicken.
Facing them with another match point in reach, it is KT, TWTWT, Kiaru, Lotus, Timeless, and Bad is back on Jaina. By the way, I think you had a little bit of crackle again, so if you could...
Test, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It was much more subtle than last time, but I think we're fine.
Okay, if it starts again, then let me know and I'll quickly pop under the desk.
Gotcha.
Marvelous.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Who played Junkrat?
Well,
Pa.
That's usually a DSL hero, but once again, he's not here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Chicken on the Sergeant Hammer.
It's pretty fascinating to see that RPG barely changed their playstyle in their drafts at all. They're just like, okay, yeah. Chicken, well, you're just going to have to play with DSL plays, or Pa's going to have to play with DSL plays because we do not change plans all of a sudden.
Yeah, and Chicken's fitting it very well. I'm going to be honest, I prefer him on these kind of heroes he's been playing so far than I ever did on like a Tracer and stuff like that.
Well, for a moment I thought you were saying I actually prefer him over DSL, but that would have been sacrilege.
That would have been savage is what that would have been, and more evidence is required to make that kind of decision.
All right. Sergeant Hammer, Chicken plays that one this time around in the top lane. Urel is going to have to back down a little bit and... basically try to keep the lane safe without dying and overextending. Actually got interrupted mid-jump as we speak.
Decides that the best move here is just to smack Chicken in the face and force him to back up. Looks like they're going to all go and help out with the Bruiser Camp. A 4-man Bruiser Camp. RPG looking to pick this up as early as possible.
Yeah, I mean, they realize, you know what, if we have Sergeant Hammer and Junkrat possibly in that lane, and we're being, you know, accompanied by those mercenaries, we can actually build up a pretty nice siege. We can actually put on a lot of pain. Looks like it's just going to be Sergeant Hammer and Deckard, best friends for life. Ain't got no room for a third party member. And with that knockback, actually, Sergeant Hammer finds himself a little bit too far away from those minions. Sorry, from those towers.
Seems to be the entire strategy of Urel.
See,
smack him in the face. His allies are nearby.
Yeah.
Just chucks the Stormbolt, and this is it. But that was all. That was the only attempt there.
All right. Let's see how much they're willing to force into this. Chicken a little bit too far away this time. He doesn't have siege hover mode yet, so need to be a little more careful as to where you start sieging.
Chicken, once again, hovers around the area. C is fine, at least for the moment. He sees Timeless, so obviously MJ and Chicken know to back up. Meantime, Junkrat and Hanzo duel in the bot lane. Urel has taken up position in the mid lane to soak against Blaze.
And now
much more comfortable lane for her.
Yeah, now all of a sudden this mercenary push has pretty much gone poof for RPG. So now with that tower support and of course the strong sieging coming in from Jaina as well, it is KT's time to balance the score. They lost one tower in the top lane. Can they get a tower back? Nice anti-stun effects here coming in from TWT, keeping Bad safe again and again and again.
Great use of this Tyrande, pinging in arrows over and over, like you said, to keep that healing going. And as such, the Jaina, who was just hard engaged on there, able to survive, ports back, will be back healthy and topped up on mana. In the meantime, triple attempt onto this middle Volta, and they're going to be able, middle shrine, and they're going to be able to take that. Timeless might be trouble. Nah, easy backup, easy escape.
That was absolutely amazing. Well played by Timeless. The mini sidestep. I mean, these are all the difference that separate, you know, a great tank player from a really great tank player, and, you know, mechanical player at that as well. Timeless, I actually thought he was overdoing it, but he knew perfectly well that he had what it takes to dodge the Stormbolt and survive. So not only mechanical skills, but also confidence in your own ability, and that is just super cool to see. Now, C is trying to mess a little bit here with Irel. KT, Timeless and his boys, they steal away the final shots of the top temple. Really cute move.
And they got the entire shots from the mid-temple, so KT come out significantly ahead here. Very solid job by them. But now, Chicken is creeping forward. Good Indomitable, just to making it look easy. Bad, though. Into the... Come on now. Into the fray. C escapes barely. That stun from TWT was so close to landing.
Yeah, it was really, really close. And, man, both Warrior players are just showing really strong performances right now, especially Timeless with that easy toss. Muradin landing a lot of his storm bolts as well. What a brawl it is. Both teams facing each other on exactly the same power level. Such a pleasure to see this game right now.
They are looking pretty good. C hovers around, says hello to Timeless, who he did spot on this rotation down. Doesn't want to get himself caught out of position, though. As Hanzo, looks like he's going to start on his Team Siege Giant camp. Of course he is Hanzo, he has gone for full W build. This will not take him long.
Yep.
Nice.
Double countered actually here, Kiara that is. He was interrupted on his first jump and then also denied the value of his hammer because of that Sergeant Hammer activating Siege Tactics. Speaking of people in trouble, Muradin needs to escape to safety ASAP.
They're able to stay alive. C even going to be able to just heal himself up. Doesn't have to rely on Deckard. Gonna Fountain just for mana, really, because once again, his trait heals him up pretty quickly. We're going to see Siege Giants against Siege Giants here. Hanzo in position, though, to try and deny some value from those, and will actually nearly kill one off.
Oh, the boss!
Oh, I don't
Are they actually
know
doing
if he
it?
intended to do that. As Freeshow sees it, because they know that Hammer's still pushing top.
Yeah.
Hammer's going to take a while to get down here. It's going to end up being a 4 versus 4 here. Hammer's on the way. Boss gets leashed. Do RPG actually want to contest this? That concussion mine is such a good dissuasive tool.
Yes.
That RPG have put down here.
And there goes the boss Ping Pong, who is willing to let go earlier. Once again, that concussion mine, if you can trigger that one before, it's going to be so huge. There's only so much a boss can take. And the boss is like, I've had enough of these running games. I'm just going to go back to full health now.
All right, the RPG mission accomplished. They didn't finish.
They didn't get the fort yet.
They did not get the fort, so that's actually. I mean, mission accomplished. They stopped the boss, but Katie, I really doubt their entire plan there was to prevent top dying. But in this case, that is what has happened. So now everyone's gonna fight bot lane because everyone is here except for Yrel.
Level 10s are locked in. We see the Warlords challenge, Shadowstalk yet again, and Hanzo. Dragon's Arrow from a distance, maybe that could be a good engage.
Or Dragon's Strike to follow up on that Warlord's challenge if he wants to go a little bit saucy. We've been seeing more of it to the point where I don't even laugh when I say the words anymore. As we see just waiting to see if KT overstep. But KT not having it, and as such, bottom fort will go down.
Yeah, the final temple shots will then, of course, get transferred over to the middle. The middle fort still looking mighty healthy, though. Even the gate was still standing. So, two things KT needs to pay attention to right now. First of all, they need to get a good fight relatively soon, because otherwise RPG can always just dance away with a building lead, with a level lead. Furthermore, I also think they really need to take care that top doesn't die that easily, because that could be another big chunk towards 13 for RPG. Unstoppable onto Muradin.
Dragon Arrow comes out. Timeless not in the best position-wise, but they're unable to lock anyone down long enough to pick up the kill. That Bruiser Camp will prevent top from dying quickly, exactly as you requested. Boss being hovered around. You can see Muradin was scouting that out just in case Hanzo decided to do something cheeky, which they're do.
Trying again.
C will see this.
C will see this indeed. The question is, can he do anything about it? He gets focused down, taunted as well. The Avatar does go through it. That's a big blunder for RPG right now.
That's a really big deal. Riptide's coming in. Blaze on the point. He gets in the bunker. He's securing it, though. They're holding on the point. Toss him off.
No
that bunker
way.
just lost RPG, the boss, and Timeless getting away with the heist of the century. They pull back.
Free Show probably wasn't aware of the fact that the bunker basically removes the hero from that platform. And that, of course, means that RPG was not able to get that boss. It looked so good for a moment. I was already like, okay, KT done messed up. But looks like with a little bit of an individual misplay, KT is still in full momentum.
They are still in this. They're half a level behind, but that boss secure keeps them going. They're going to get some Siege Giants, and then they can start to focus onto mid. Their Bruiser Camp, also, even though theirs was earlier, their Bruiser Camp won the Bruiser Camp fight up in top lane, so theirs is still pushing.
All right, I call shenanigans right there. Don't really know how they did it, but somehow with lucky positioning and target prioritization, they were able to do it. So for KT, they stopped the bleeding at least a little bit. They kept their opponents busy, but they're still significantly behind in terms of structures and experience. So they need to get more. They need to win more. This one team fight win in the bottom near the boss didn't give them enough value to justify, you know, the investment.
Well, they're going to take mid temple. Level 13, though, is available for RPG. They have to be careful here. Yrel is cleaning out bot lane, so they are split soaking while all this is going on. And KT, they're by no means super far behind, but the soaking potential that RPG have been able to get, and the fact that they're about to take their third fort compared to KT's one, KT have a lot more banked experience, basically, where they can pick it up later, but they're slowly bleeding in terms of experience. Oh, nice bunker, just as he was tossed, and Free Show escapes.
Free Show, you cheeky boy, you actually did it, and that would have been a crippling kill, actually. That would have given them staggered deaths. They would probably wouldn't have been able to defend the bottom fort there as well, and with that survival and so much distraction space created by Free Show, they actually get the final shots on that temple as well.
Kiaru hovering around. Quick cleanup onto the minion wave. Need to be careful because RPG are poised like sharks here. Dragon Arrow, oh, denied. Timeless denied his own team the Dragon Arrow.
That was a little unfortunate there, actually. KT crippling themselves here quite a bit. At least they destroyed the Riptire, so that one didn't get value either.
All right, 2 heroics, one for one. Well, actually several, because they did also burn the Shadow Stalk here and the Water Elemental. RPG trading up pretty effectively there, but there's not much for them to do. Still 2 minutes for the next boss. The objectives haven't spawned yet. Siege Giants, their one is still 50 seconds away. They have to wait around that for that. And as such, KT looks like they're just going to move back, grab fountains, and in Yrel's case, keep soaking. Try and keep them in the lane so that they can keep split soaking.
Absolutely. Keep up the soak. That is the most important thing for KT. They still have a little bit of a time window here before the next temple phase is going to go live. They also need to be careful so they don't fall victim to a Murden assault, for example. Man, this is such a tactical game. Are we in Europe, by the way, Tetcher? Is that European HGC? 0-1 after 12 minutes almost? Are we sure we're casting the right region?
We've had so many close calls, but here's the toss. Good knockback from Hammer, but it's not enough. Killing off the Decade C from over the wall, coming in to help, but Junkrat, the main disruption tool, it's not here. Bunker's good. Kiaru says, don't care. Just leaps past it. Now they're looking for C, but they can't catch him. Junkrat was on the way up and has decided better off it.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, KT, the masters of fighting a talent down. They've done it before on the Infernal Shrines where they took an entire team fight willingly, 15-16. And this time they've done it again, although in a slightly different fashion. They were actually aware they had superior vision, thanks to that Tyrande Owl once again. And they knew perfectly where to engage from, which targets to focus on. And that was just really cool to see. Lotus, man, careful, buddy. If that Riptire hits you...
Wow, I mean, I am really surprised that by the looks of it, they're actually going to get away with this. As KT, they're going to hit 16, they're going to clean up those Bruiser Camps. We have Yrel pushing in top lane with a double Bruiser Camp and with that Temple. Everything is coming up KT now. Finally, for the first time, XP is basically even.
Yeah, the only hero that's currently not with the rest of this team of KT is Hanzo. He needed to clear the bottom because there was a mercenary camp pushing. And now he basically guaranteed the fact that their own Siege Giant camp is the one threatening. So that really opens up the map so much. RPG, as you said, they're busy defending. Sergeant Hammer in trouble, gets deleted yet again. Timeless, you glorious man, how are you doing this all day long?
He is just a one-man wrecking crew, but it is a titan standing on the shoulders of giants because his team are just doing so much work as well. He looks for another. He doesn't have Warlord's Challenge though, so this time C was able to pop the Avatar as they turn around. C barely escapes with the Dwarf Toss. Stay a while and listen just to prevent Timeless pushing in any deeper. Kiaru though, yeah, just leaps in.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, should be a free boss right now. Sergeant Hammer is still not there to contest it. So many heroic abilities had to be used. Decker, Kane, Muradin. The Water Elemental is just scouting and chilling around, you know, just in case. RPG. And this boss with the Mercenary Camp texture is looking mighty scary.
I'm sorry, did you just say the Water Elemental is chilling?
That I did. It really is, and it wasn't even intended.
Okay, they move in. Round 2 on C. No Avatar this time. And that was the easiest pickoff of their lives. Chicken begins to try and burn down the single remaining Siege Giant. But here comes the boss. They are trying to push in. Bad has now arrived as well, so putting pressure onto Hammer will likely be coming soon. But this is starting to look bad for RPG. They are on the back foot here.
Need to be careful. Dragon's Arrow is not there, unfortunately, for KT, but they still have enough lockdown. Look at Free Show, another free kill just like that. Kiaru locking him down. And Tetra, this might very well be the end of it.
Stay a while. Not enough to get anyone there. That is going to be enough for now.
Yeah.
They don't want to take the risk. Temples, and they might be able to get another keep here, and that's going to put them so far ahead.
I like this call. Actually, on second thought, I watched their team. Hanzo was very low on mana. Jaina wasn't really in tip-top shape anymore as well. Their core attack damage is actually really bad. Jaina is okay, but Hanzo usually struggles a little bit. He can only deliver those auto attacks for the most part. So I love the patient call, you know, the not-so-greedy call, as you called it. So, yeah, looks like temples are going to be shared. Or is KT trying to fight here after all? They're actually wasting a little bit of time here, aren't they? Just going for a full-man mercenary camp.
They want the next fight to be when they have 20. So as such, grabbing both mercenaries means more pressure on bot lane, meaning that they might be able to take the opportunity to kill off top or mid keep. This would get them level 20. It's a long-term play that could work out just winning them the game straight away if they are able to take a team fight with it. Look at KT, wrapping around. Just they don't want to fight. They want experience. They've got the shots. They're killing off structures.
Okay.
And RPG are just slowly running out of time. They have to send someone bot now to react to the double Siege Giants, which means they have the opportunity of, if they go, oh my god. So RPG, I said they had to make something happen, and they try it. They're just moving forward. They've taken down a keep of their own.
All right, here goes
the
ice block. It's only now completed for Jaina, which is pretty amazing to see. But yeah, I was going to say, like, I was wondering how healthy that middle lane still was for KT, so they even sacrificed a keep for it, just so they would get the level 20 fight that they so wanted.
But they got it.
They got it.
In theory, they could just move into bot lane right now and just push their mercs, but in this case, RPG are now stuck in base. This is where KT can really start to make the place. Nearly dying to the Siege Giants, but he does survive, and that's all that's important here. KT are just grabbing every mercenary on the map, just putting on maximum pressure. A double mercenary push into top lane is probably going to be the name of the game, as they will have 20. And this is where they can end the game. Hanzo, he's not here. Doesn't matter. Play of the game is available.
That is true. And from any given moment on here, KT could decide to flip the switch and try to turn the heat onto their opponents with a talent advantage, a massive one. Storm tier talents are so important. Timeless, Indomitable needs to get out to safety for now.
Yeah, DWT, you can actually see him attacking the sidewalls there to keep that healing. Double toss with Titanic Bite. Free Show gets in the bunker, as does C, but Timeless looking to turn it around. Warlord's Challenge onto C. Can they kill him with the Avatar up? Yes, they can. And now Kiaru drops solo, as is Timeless. He's melting under the power of the Siege Tank, with both crews taken out, and the Siege Tank no longer in existence.
Lotus there with deadly aim, a sharpshooter. blowing Sergeant Hammer, the mighty tank, to a million pieces now. Terran technology, not so sturdy after all when you have a bow and arrow. And KT, 2 members down. Can they finally find that opening? The strong wave clear from Blaze is keeping them in the game for now. But look at the bottom lane already. That strong wave clear as well from Pa. Man, they didn't even have Junkrat in there. But now things are starting to look dicey. 19 seconds until 2 temples are going to activate. And look at the death timers. Murden is only going to spawn there.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Hammer doesn't have a mounting ability. Needs super long to reinforce the ranks.
Look at the keep health.
No,
here
clean
for
feed. Do you also have a
RPG.
spinning circle?
No.
Okay. Then I'm going to quickly just refresh.
Let me get my timer for you. I am on 6.4.
6.4. Bam. Nailed it. Saved.
Boom. Easy peasy. So, Hanzo taking mercenaries. Remember, he's global. He just got the Dragon Arrow off of cooldown, so he can join his team at any point. First keep, down. Second keep,
RPG
down.
needs to fight.
They're holding mid at the moment. This is where KT will want to be next, but right now there's already shots going onto the core. Hanzo's just double merc camping here. It's just going to put more pressure onto bot lane.
Yeah. KT can now just go back to the base. Go back to base and just defend. They don't need to do anything anymore. They can wait until RPG needs to defend the base. Look at what's coming to them. Double mercenaries, the temple is still firing, and then just when RPG is defending Timeless, you can't afford to die now.
Oh, that shield was pretty clutch. Anti-healing is applied. Timeless tags through. Bad drops so much health for that. KT, why must you hurt our hearts like this? Also, Kiaru is ending the game.
Kiaru is ending the game.
It's done.
And
that's
that's
done.
it.
There's nothing. That is it. Kiaru with double catapults, 2 siege giant camps picked up by Hanzo earlier on, and Kiaru holding that top temple and then just running it down. That is game number 3, the entire series, and moving on up, it is Kudos top, Team KT, with what a dominant day's worth of games they played.
Holy moly, KT, they've done it. They're pulling off a little bit of an A-team here from last phase in the playoffs. And guess what? When we thought, fatigue, mental fatigue, would kick in for KT because they already had played so many games, they decided it was time to go home and grab that pizza that they deserved themselves so well, because instead of having a 3-1, even a 3-2, they just had 3-0, boom, RPG go home.
3 in a row. Final map score of the day for KT was 9-2.
Amazing.
That is an absurd win-loss ratio for them. Able to make their way through, overcoming all obstacles, and they are now 3 best-of-5s away from going to BlizzCon.
Did they just accumulate more victories than in the entire season combined?
Let me check that. That's a
Because
good
if
question.
I recall correctly, they only had 1 win in the entire normal phase, maybe 2.
Yeah, they won 7 total maps. No, wait, no, 9 total maps. Sorry, so they got the exact same.
Where have you been, KT? Where have you been all phase long? Was it all just a mischievous plan to, wake a false image on their opponents and then just utterly dismantle them in the playoffs?
Who knows at this point, but I don't know where they've been, but I am happy to see them. KT, they are moving on. MVP, I think we've got to give that to Kiaru this game. I think he deserves that one, especially as Timeless nearly killed himself at the end. If not, then maybe Hanzo. Lotus, I think, was on the Hanzo, so I think he did those mercenary caps at the end. Really good plays in general.
Honestly,
wouldn't mind that.
Whoever enabled vision onto Decker Kane in that one move near the top Merc camp, whether it was Tyrande with an L or Hanzo with a Sonic Arrow, I think that person should get MVP, because without that breaking turning point, where they just collapsed onto Decker Kane while being 2 levels behind, that really set them good for this comeback, right? It really enabled them to come back in the first place. So whoever that was deserves MVP in my books.
I think I agree with you. Hang on, I just need to spam chat. There we go. Cool.
KT, yay!
Yeah, no, well played. I love RPG, but I also love high-quality heroes, and KT are playing some really good high-quality heroes. And the question is, can they keep that up against the top 4? The classic top 4 of HGC China. They've got to fight for it, but 8 kills to 0 by the end of that.
crazy, man. And just when we thought we had a little bit of a longer day today, you know, with 3 best-of-5s instead of the 2 that we have tomorrow and a Wednesday, well, KT not only made themselves happy, but they also made us 2 happy pandas as well, because that means we're not going to have to go into that mental fortitude, into that mental breakdown either. So, golf clap as Tetra is currently practicing it. Yeah, loving it.
No, I'm being quiet because I don't know how it would come across on mic.
Oh, I thought you were golf clapping like, superbly done, KT.
Yeah, I was, but I was doing it quietly just in case it like came across terrible on the mic. It's like whistling. You never whistle into a microphone.
Can you give us the impression of a real fancy English gentleman, British gentleman, just being very pleased that something has been going and he doesn't have to go into much of a hassle anymore because he gets to go back home?
Ah, yes, good show. Well done. Spot on. Pip pip cheerio. Best I got.
All right. Loving it, man. I'm loving it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that was the end for today's broadcast. I'm not sure if the Chinese production crew has anything up their sleeves anymore, but
I think they'll show us the table. Like
that is correct. We're going to see the final bracket, right? Okay. But anyways, after that bracket, which we're going to show now, boom, there we go. KT, man, from start to finish. Look at those monsters.
It's incredible. 3-1 against Team Nut, 3-1 against the A-Team, 3-0 against RPG with a substitute, bear in mind. But Chicken played admirably. I have no complaints about Chicken. Well, I have some complaints about Chicken, but overall, that was a solid performance. But now, here you can see, tomorrow's matchups will be CE versus KT. Can KT continue it going, or will CE be able to do whatever Kendrick just did to whatever was on his desk there and drop him? And will they move on?
My yogurt just decided it was time to bow down to KT as well. He couldn't stay on the table anymore. It was just having too much. All right. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for today. As Tetra said, tomorrow we're going to have a packed schedule with CE waiting for KT. Who's going to be able to come out on top there? The winner will then face SBT. You don't want to miss out.
Remember, we start 2 hours later, starting at 10 or 11? 11, right?
11 CEST.
11 CEST, so you could all have a lie-in and then join us for the next 2 matches of the HGC China Playoffs. We are getting closer to BlizzCon.
See ya!